Hello and welcome to Hank Games. Today, there's no Hank, by the way. Today we are the Swindon Swoodly Poopers. We're in white. We are playing, I don't know who we're playing, but it is the last game of the League One season. And our next game is against Manchester United in the FA Cup final. So I am starting no one. I am starting none of my top 11 players. We, the Swindon Swoodly Poopers, have an entirely new lineup today featuring a bunch of people from the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the Swoodly Poopin' barrel. I got no idea who these guys are. You're going to have to name them for me in comments. Also, please in comments tell me what to talk about because I don't know what you want to hear about. You have to tell me, and then you have to vote up the comments that you like. What was wrong with that? That was just some good old-fashioned football playing by some guy whose name I don't know. I mean, to give you a sense of the lack of depth in the Swindon Town squad, I am playing guys whose overall quality is 34. So yeah, it's not going to be. This isn't necessarily going to be pretty, but hopefully it'll get you ready for Manchester United tomorrow. You must tune in to watch the FA Cup final as the heroic Swoodly Poopers face Manchester United in the FA Cup final. So today I am going to tell you a story, although it's going to be a brief story. It's going to be about my wife and our relationship in high school. So as many of you know, I met the Yeti in high school, but we were not friends. We did not know each other. And she was 3 years behind me in school, so she was a freshman when I was a senior. That in and of itself was not goal. I'll tell you what, Ball John Green puts that on the back of the net 10 times out of 10. That's a goal that Ball John Green frankly never misses. That's unfortunate. So, but I did know the Yeti in high school. I mean, like, you know, she had a reputation. Get it! Yes! V. Pericard. What's his name? Victorious Pericard? Voluptuous Pericard? I don't know. You tell me. Great goal, though, from V. Pericard, whose overall skill level, I think, is in the 50s. So anyway, when I was a senior, there was a whole rash of senior guys dating freshman girls, including my friend. In fact, one of my good friends dated Sarah, dated the Yeti herself, my friend Townsend Kaiser. Townsend Kaiser, who is famous for a few things, but perhaps best known today as one of the most successful catfish farmers in the entire United States of America. Townsend, really great friend of mine from high school, just an amazing guy. I would love to tell you stories about Townsend, but I don't want to get him in trouble. Goal! V. Pericard. Voluptuous Pericard. Man, he is voluptuous. That's just great stuff. Look at the guys celebrate there in the middle of the screen. They're just like, give it up, So yeah, the only thing I knew a little bit about the Yeti because I knew that she was dating Townsend for a little while. I mean, they only dated for a couple weeks or something, but, you know, I always liked Townsend, you know, and so I figured that she must be pretty cool if Townsend would date her. But there was quite a lot of like seniors dating freshmen, and I dated a freshman. I dated a good friend of Sarah's who's still a friend of ours, Leah Green. If we'd gotten married, her name would have been Leah Green. When I say I dated Leah Green, by the way, I mean that I took her out to one movie. And I remember that like the age difference was going to be a bit of an issue when we went out to that one movie because we went out to dinner and like I am a terrible date. Like I'm a bad conversationalist and I'm extremely nervous. Particularly when I was in high school, I was extremely nervous around girls because they had this like magical power that I did not understand. And so I mean I was really like awkward in front of with Leah Green, but I realized that it wasn't going to work as a romantic relationship because I mean she was a freshman and we went to the movies and I was like, what do you want to see? We can see Pulp Fiction or Richie Rich. And she was like, I think I'd like to see Richie Rich. And I was like, oh, this is not a good thing. By the way, Pulp Fiction and Richie Rich are films from the 90s that none of you have ever heard of. So Pulp Fiction, really good movie. Richie Rich, not as much. Anyway, the only thing I really knew about, the only thing Sarah knew about me, she always says that the only thing that she knew about me is that I walked around like with this like cloud of tobacco smoke following me everywhere I went, which is true. I did smoke a lot in high school, and I was really like, you know, glaringly, obnoxiously obvious about it. So that was all that she remembered about me. But she did think that my cousin was cute. Isn't that a typical Alabama thing that, like, you know, you've got this whole mess of cousins and Yeah. Anyway, they never dated, thank God. But all I really knew about Sharon was that she was like really uncommonly intelligent and mature. Like she was sort of, we all thought, kind of hilariously mature among the ninth graders. She was the one who acted like she was like, in her 40s. Sarah always tells the story that when she was a kid, like when other people would play in like dollhouses or whatever, she would play graphic designer, in which she would work 8 hours a day as a graphic designer. Fat Lucas, I love you, Fat Lucas. What a great goalkeeper! My God, he's so beautiful and fat. I love him. Anyway, I had a song about Fat Lucas, but I can't remember the words. But it was all about how great he is. Rest assured. So, but we did end up going to a party together, and that party involved my friend Todd's pet squirrel Trippy. And I will tell you about that party in the second half because it's really my only memory of Sarah. Sarah has no memory of this at all, but it was really in some level, like in some ways, it was like the moment I fell in love with Sarah. Even though we did not really fall in love for another 11 years. Please don't point at the penalty spot. Please don't point at the. Okay, we're good. Everything is fine. What did I get that yellow card for? Dissent? For being handsome? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, I'm just hitting buttons. Let's face it. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh boy. Oh, Fat Lucas. Hero. No, why are you pointing at the penalty spot? That is an inappropriate place to point. Oh, I'm very upset. Morrison's upset. Jean-Francois is upset. S. Morrison has gotten a yellow card. Everything is just really unnecessary slide tackle there by S. Morrison. This is a disaster. All right, so I think I might have learned something about penalties, which is that I use the other stick. And, I didn't do anything. I gave up a goal to Walsall FC. It doesn't really matter the result of this game, but I'd still like to win it because, Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers, they're winners. So I am going to tell you the story about this party, though. So the year after I graduated from high school, I lived in Birmingham. After that, I went to my freshman year of college at Kenyon College, and then over the summer, I moved back to Birmingham, and I lived in an apartment with three of my friends, and we had jobs. I worked at a restaurant called Outtakes. Get the goal. Oh, that's disappointing, voluptuous. I worked at a restaurant called Outtakes. They worked at a bakery, and, it was fun. It was a good time. And we threw one party the entire time we were there. The reason we only threw one party was because we had a pet squirrel. And, people just don't like really going to parties with pet squirrels. And then also we were always a little bit worried about the welfare of the pet squirrel. Like maybe, someone at the party would not realize that Trippy was our pet, and they would just think that he was just a squirrel, and they would let him out, and then we wouldn't have Trippy anymore. So, but then in a tragedy that isn't funny at all, that's just not the kind of goal scoring I look for in a forward, which is why John Green and John Green are typically up front. Trippy died. He died probably of old age. He died at an appropriate age for a squirrel, but he still died. It was very sad. And then afterwards, we had a Trippy memorial party. And Sarah came to the party, which was really, by the time then it was the summer after she was 16 or 17, and I was, I guess, 18. And it was the summer after her sophomore year, and I thought she was super cute, and I spent the entire night trying just to talk to her, trying to get her attention and show her how cool I was and tell her about all the cool things that I was doing now that I was a college man. And she was like, "You go to college in a cornfield? Why is that impressive?" So it didn't work at all. But I remember thinking at the end of that party, I was like, God, I bet she's just so cool. I bet it would be so cool to date her. And then I get to date her for the rest of my life. It's such a big win for me. So, if there's some girl at a party and you're like, oh, that girl's never going to like me, just obsess over her for the next 20 years, and then maybe someday it'll happen. That's terrible advice. Don't do that. Oh, voluptuous paracard. You're better than that. You're better than that. Oh, that's a disappointment. So, yeah, I don't really remember anything else about Sarah from high school. I remember thinking that, she was among those ninth grade girls, they were all really nice. In fact, like they're all still really nice. They're all still friends of ours. And I remember thinking that she was nice, but not really being particularly inclined toward her one way or the other, except for that one night at that one party. All she remembers about me, aside from the smoking, is that I was sarcastic and that the teachers used to talk about me a lot, which is true. For better or worse, I didn't have the love of my teachers all the time, but I always had their attention, which is, of course, what, like, class clowns, nerdy class clowns like myself really want on some... Come on! You had the entire goal in which to score. That's reprehensible. You know, all I really wanted was attention from my teachers. And that's, I mean, on some level, that's still kind of true. Like, I still care more about the opinion of my high school teachers than pretty much anyone else. Like, it still matters to me. Like, they taught Looking for Alaska one year at my high school. That mattered to me more than all the other things that have ever happened to Looking for Alaska. Like, I was literally more excited about that than I was about the movie deal or about all the, you know, being published all over the world or winning. I mean, it was just the coolest thing that could have happened was to be in my high school's curriculum. That's just amazing to me. And it was one of my old teachers who picked the book, which was particularly meaningful because she did not like me as a student. She liked me as a writer, but I was a little bit of a snot-faced student. You know, I was one of those students who was always like, do we really have to analyze this book? Like, did the author really intend all these metaphors, or are you just like trying to ruin my life? I know that a lot of you are like, but seriously though, the author didn't intend all those metaphors. Yes, she did, and even if she didn't, it doesn't matter. Oy gava. I am such a grown-up. I know I'm such an old man. Can this guy get a red card, please? That was a clear scoring opportunity. All he gets is oh, come on. All right, I've never scored in this situation. I'm sure that's going to change here with V. Pericard. No, it's not. That was a poor shot, V. Pericard. Poor. Oh man, I don't do quite as well with the when I've got the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers B team playing. The other thing about Sarah is that she was great at soccer. And I went to all the women's soccer games because we had a great women's soccer team, and like everybody went, and we had all these cheers, and it was just a lot of fun. And she was really good, even as a ninth grader. I think she was on varsity as a ninth grader. Go score. Go score. Come on, voluptuous Pericard. Do it for your team. No! Golly! I just said golly. I must be thinking too much about my time in the South. So that is the end of the game, the last game of the season for the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers. We are headed up to the championship. Huzzah! Huzzah! And tomorrow you will see the FA Cup final in which we play Manchester United. All right. I'll see you then. Actually, I won't, but you'll hear me then. Best wishes.